introduction, but let's get into this conversation. So again, my name is Arvell Craig, and at Chatbot Funnels is a company that specifically helps sales and marketing teams use conversational marketing, use chatbots to improve the way they sell or improve the way they book meetings, generate leads, and qualify leads, right? So that is what we do. And we also work with agencies specifically that deal with, B2B types of clients normally, so that we can kind of introduce them to this new way of engaging with buyers, a new way of engaging with leads and customers when they are consuming your content. And so that is what I want to talk to you about today in this introduction to Drift. And so here's a stat that most people, I think, if you've been around marketing for a little while, you may know, but you may not know. I just want to cover some basics before we get into the meat. And this is the fact that the reason why chatbots are popular, the reason why they are beneficial for businesses, they're beneficial because, not because there's new technology, not because it's cool and it's cool to be a geek and a nerd and talk about AI and all this fancy stuff, but chatbots are relevant because the way people interact online has changed, right? And so the thing is that people spend their time messaging people one-on-one. That's the way, from text messaging to WhatsApp, Snapchat, Messenger, people are messaging one another more and more often, right? And that is the key component of understanding why chatbots are relevant. And so maybe 2-3 years ago, the stats show that more people are messaging one another, and that's what makes chatbots relevant. And even in a B2B sense, Gartner says that by 2020 or 2022, which is just 2 years from now, 2.5 years from now, it's saying that 70% of white collar workers will interact with a conversational platform on a daily basis. Okay. So what this is showing you is that technology is changing and people are changing, and there's no going back, right? So whether you think it's cool or whether you think it's not, like I had a conversation with a major, Fortune 500 company, and they were talking about, they have a mandate from their CEO to begin to automate. I forgot what the percentage was, or there was 30 or 40 or 50% of their customer service. They have a mandate that they're wanting it to be more automated. And honestly, in one sense, you can think that the company is just trying to save money. But to me, when you really get into what chatbots do, it's really about saving time. It's saving waste. And so that is what I know that is happening, nationwide, globally. Interactive conversational tools are developing, and people are expecting to be served faster. Okay. And that is, some of the background information that you have to understand. People are changing, right? Their expectations are changing. On the left here, we've got your traditional cable company, and it has all these channels and all this generic stuff. 90% of these channels nobody wants, but when you buy it, you have to get it, and you're paying a just bloated amount in order to get all these channels, right? And then you've got something like Netflix, which is giving you a personalized experience, specifically giving you the kind of things that you like. And so that is what we want to begin to do. Those of us that interact with customers online, and we're building our websites, and of course, websites have been around for 20, 30 years, but the way we interact with people online is often like this cable company guide. You got all this information, but it's not tailored to people. It's not really helping people. And that is what we can now begin to do with conversational marketing. So like, here's a beautiful example of what we're doing by using Drift, right? You look on the left, and this is the old model, which is probably still the standard model of how you hope to interact with a customer. They come to your website, and if they want to really get in touch with your salespeople and have a sales conversation, you put them through all these hoops in order for them to just to one day hear back from you. And then on the right here, this is an example using Drift, where we address the person by name because we know it's them. So we make it personal, right? It says back on the pricing page again. things must be getting serious for you. I'm here to help. You can grab, a time on the calendar with a click of a button, just one click, and they can be on your calendar. So imagine which experience is going to be better, especially for someone who's actually in the mood, in an intent to buy. If they want to make a buying decision, why do we make them go through all these hoops? And that's what we want to get into about how the best chatbot tools, how the best ones work and how they sell. Okay. And so here's just to give you a heads up, in order to save you some time, I want to lay out a little bit of the details of what makes a good company or business that can interact with what I say is the best chatbot platform, which is Drift. So the best situations are your company is a B2B company. And of course, you're going to want more sales meetings. Number two is that you have invested into your website. You invested into this experience. You've invested into creating content and information and education and things that help people. If that's you, then you may want to seriously consider adding Drift and an intelligent chatbot to your site, because you can engage with people real time while they are consuming that content that you spent all that time making. Next thing is that I say you want to have a website, you have to have a website with some traffic to really get the ROI. We don't really work with companies that are just starting off. You got a brand new website and you're not investing into your website and you're not investing into driving new people to your site. It's going to be hard to really get the ROI, to really capture the benefit of what we're doing. And then the next point is that I assume, hopefully if you have some type of pipeline, some type of sales funnel or sales process where your leads go through, and you've invested also into a CRM, whether that's Salesforce, you've got HubSpot or some other marketing automation tool, you've got some kind of investment into your CRM, you're going to get benefits from what we're going to talk about. And then lastly, as I mentioned, you've got some time and energy invested into marketing automation, where you understand a little bit about the process of nurturing your leads and educating them to make sure they're more informed and they're able to make a quality buying decision. Because if you have these 5 things in place, I'm certain that if we can help you to, strategically and intelligently apply a Drift type of, a full stack system, you're going to see an incredible increase in the amount of meetings that this website bot is going to do for you. So what we want to talk about, I want to go over just a quick glance over some different types of chatbots. Next, I want to talk specifically, I want to get into Drift and why Drift works and why Drift is and how the best chatbots sell. And we'll get into the back end. I'll get into some examples and samples of what you may not see on the front end if you've played around with some bots or whatever. I want to show you what makes Drift unique and the experience unique. And then I want to go into if you find that there's some value in this. And of course, we're going to try to keep this short and sweet, and we can't cover everything that you need to know. But if you wanted to get some additional help, and if I could help you with that, I'll show you some options there. And then if you're still around, we can go into a Q&A section where I can answer any questions that you may have about what we cover. And that is the agenda for today. Now, let's get into it. So there are many, many, many types of chatbots, okay? And so I generally like to show this picture because chatbots are technically not anything new. And when you really get down to it, there's chatbots that are by voice, there's chatbots that are SMS and Slack and Skype and standalone. So there's many, many versions, some that are great for customer support. They're built for support. Some are built for sales and marketing, okay? Some are built for programmers to have to develop, and some are built for, marketing professionals to be able to manage, okay? So there's many, many different types of chatbots. And the way I break them down is that, number one, where will the chatbot live? You want to think about where your traffic is, where you've invested. I mentioned earlier that Drift is going to work if you've invested into your website and you're driving traffic there. But some people, most of their investment and their time is in maybe Facebook or some social media site, or maybe they do a lot by voice, or they want some SMS or email. So there are different types of chatbots based upon where people live, where your leads live. Next is who the chatbot is like best to communicate to. Most chatbots, I'd say, are built for support, you know, and there's a small minority that are built for sales and marketing. And then the other side of the who is like, who's actually behind the bot? Is the bot purely just a bot? Is it purely just technology? Or is the bot also a live person that can like interact and mingle and like take turns with the bot experience? And then lastly, how does this bot interact, or how does it allow a person to interact with it? Normally you see either there's like some buttons, which the whole button thing is really like a decision tree that you kind of map out in advance, or you've got the kind of AI, artificial intelligence, or NLP, which stands for natural language processing, which allows a person to type in their own language, in their own free-form way. And the AI system, the NLP system, can interpret and understand what their intent is and give them a response that way. Okay, and so why Drift? Okay, why do you want to consider Drift chatbots? Okay, so a couple of reasons. Number one, Drift, I would say, is a sales and marketing focused chatbot. You know, it can work for support. It can connect to your Zendesk or your knowledge base and your WordPress site. It can connect and do all. It can take tickets, right? You can have a ticketing system when somebody's chatting, and so it does all that, and it's great for that. However, I think its supreme, its highest advantage is in the context of sales and marketing. Next, Drift is primarily a website chatbot system. There are probably some plugins and some developers and ways you can get it to work within Messenger. I've seen some extensions. I haven't used them. I don't fully trust them, but then I'll get into all the unique features of Drift, but it is ideally a system that's going to live on your website, on any website you have, any landing page, and that is where it works best. Next is that Drift works, it beautifully blends a live person and the automated chatbot functionality. And so you can have it, you can program it so the bot will start the conversation, and then it can pass it off to a live person when relevant, when qualified, when you feel like it's ready. Or you can have, your live agents have an app on their phone, and you can simply watch conversations that the bot does, and you can proactively jump into the conversation whenever you want, right? On Drift, there's also a live view. So you can see all the different people who are on your site on whatever page, and you can choose to jump in the conversation whenever you want, okay? And one last thing on the live part is the fact that you can program it to connect to live people as far as your team based upon geography, which I think is a beautiful thing. Meaning, if you have a certain sales team that have territories in certain states, cities, regions, countries, continents, you can program the bot to only bring up or only interact or only bring in a live person who lives in that territory. So there's just tons of features about how it works and how it brings in live people when necessary. And then when it comes to the way you interact with it, you can have it work. I mean, most people are going to use it, from the buttons aspect of the decision tree, but it does have the ability to do the natural language processing and AI functionality as well. So both of those are optional when you're using the Drift system. Continuing on, one thing I love about it is that Drift integrates with, the top CRM system, namely Salesforce. It beautifully integrates with Salesforce. So depending on the stage, your pipeline, if somebody is already in your your database in your CRM and they're at a certain stage in the buying process, you can program the bot to talk to those people differently because they're at a different stage in the buying journey. And it's beautiful. So that is, and also you can kind of see, even if you've got numbers in there, you can calculate, the amount of pipeline revenue that a certain bot or a playbook has been generating for your sales team. So it's got some really slick integrations with CRM systems. And also it can work with the top marketing automation platforms, from HubSpot to Pardot, Marketo, Eloqua. It can blend right in with those systems. So again, when it comes to triggering conversations, triggering emails, tracking and saving the details that happen in a conversation, those records and those the details of what somebody was talking with in the bot, all that data can be pushed into your marketing automation platform or into your CRM. Okay. Next, again, there's actually a whole lot more integrations. I'm not going to get to all of them, but I will mention that Drift does integrate with Facebook. So when it comes from tracking audiences and conversion tracking, Drift has that built in with Facebook. But again, if you're in sales, if you've got BDRs and SDRs, and you've got a team of people who are doing some outbound and prospecting, Drift also has a LinkedIn Sales Navigator integration, so that when somebody's on your site, and let's say they have been visiting your, one of your case studies, and they've been on there, or maybe they've come to the case study page 2 times, 3 times, you might have your bot programmed to ping your salesperson. Hey, this person has been on this page 3 times. They may be really interested in what we're talking about. Number one, you may want to bring in a live person, but while the live person is pulling up Drift and seeing what the person has done, they can also pull up that person's information. They can grab the data that's saved in LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get more details about the person and their company and about any of the features that are on their LinkedIn profile. So now when you have a live person that decides to jump in and start conversating with that person, they not only have the history of the person on the website and what they've done, they also have information about them on LinkedIn. And I think, and they can go ahead and connect on LinkedIn, add them as a contact. But in general, you've got all that information that makes, again, SDRs, BDRs, it makes their job so much easier when you have a live person on your site and you can pull in their LinkedIn information while they're interacting with your content. I mean, it's incredible. And then lastly, Drift does have attribution as far as where the person comes from. You can also integrate it with Google Analytics, and you can see inside of Google Analytics how many chat conversations were started, how many of the chat conversations turned into a lead, how many conversations turned into a meeting, and then backtracking the attributions. Okay, where did that person come from? So all these meetings that the bot has been booking, you can look into where those people came from. So these are just, again, I'd say, the top 8 things that I think that make Drift a powerful chatbot solution for the context of your sales and marketing goals. Okay, so let's get into it. So how do they sell? And I'm going to get into kind of the back end of Drift and kind of show you some of the things that we do, that we've seen in our clients. But so to kind of summarize the keys that I find that why bots can sell or sell people on taking the next step and book meetings is that, number one, a chatbot will help your best buyers faster. Okay, that's number one. Speed is a undeniable factor or feature that's going to help you help more people. If the company knows, if your leads know that you are responsive and you are attentive to them, even from the sense of a chatbot proactively engaging with them, they are going to help you sell faster. Number two, the best bots work because they have the conversations that the chatbot does, it's mapped to the buyer's journey. And this is something I'll get into, near the end about what does it even look like? How do you map a client journey with a chatbot? How do the conversations and the buyer's journey match? And that is one of the core things that we do for our clients that really make a difference as far as the results, that take a chatbot from just being an annoying little thing at the bottom of the right hand of a page and turns it into a helpful tool that helps people get the answers they want quicker, and it speeds up the buyer's journey. The third thing that make the best bots stand out is that there are multiple bots. There's multiple flows or playbooks that are strategic, and it's not by default. Okay, like I was asked by a friend of mine a few weeks ago. It's like a friend of mine asked me, why is it that your bots outperform what your clients' bots do before you work with them? Like he was trying to get into like, what is the secret sauce of what makes me unique? And honestly, what we find that makes us unique is, again, most companies are busy. Most business owners, marketing managers, executives of marketing or sales, they're juggling 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different things. Even the most expert marketing person in the world is most likely not skilled in conversational marketing, because this is just a new area. And most people you can't be great at everything. And so 3 years ago, when I decided to focus on chatbots, I decided that this would be a focus. This would be a niche that I would be an expert and a leader in, knowing that I couldn't do everything. And so when we work with clients, we go the extra mile. The typical company that gets Drift or gets a bot set up, they're going to add the default playbooks. They're going to do the least amount necessary to get the bot up and running. And then they're most likely going to spend the rest of their time simply doing their job, putting out fires, working on their marketing system, their email system, their copywriting, their ads, their ad spend, managing agency partners. They've got tons of things to do. They got the bot set up. They look at it. It looks intuitive. It's not scary. It's not made for developers. It's made for everyday people. But the problem is that if you only spend an hour or 2 getting the basics set up, you're going to leave all types of money and revenue on the table because you didn't go the extra mile to set up multiple strategic playbooks, okay? And then the last thing that I've noticed that makes the best bots sell is that, again, they're not customer service focused, but they're more of a demand generation, a direct response, an inbound marketing philosophy, right? And then that's how we've learned to build bots, as if it was a landing page, as if it was a direct response, as if we needed, we take it step by step. What's the hook? How do we get people's attention? How do we find out and qualify them? How do we encourage them and then motivate them to take the next step? This is a very streamlined, strategic approach towards taking people down a pathway that either qualifies them or disqualifies them, that either feeds them with the information they want or leads them towards or helps them realize that we may not be a good fit, right? And so we're not using tons of artificial intelligence and trying to be witty. The bot is not trying to, we're not trying to tell you jokes. We're not trying to answer any question in the world. If somebody tries to, play with my bot and break the bot, they can break it, because the bot is not, it's not made to be Siri. It's not, it's not Terminator. It's not, that's not what it is. It's not R2D2. The bot is built to help a buyer make a decision and make a purchase, and find out what we do. So when the best leads, the best buyers are on our sites, on our client sites, we build the bot to help people get what they want fast. And so kind of a bit of a tangent, not a bit of a tangent, but just trying to help you understand that the best bots have a very strategic a strategic methodology by how they build them. And it's not just a generic catch-all. It's not a frequently asked questions type of system. It's specifically to help visitors get content they need, become leads, and from leads, book meetings. Okay, so let us keep going. So now let me go ahead and crack open a can of drift and show you a bit about how it works and what makes it stand out. So here's an example of in drift, they call it a playbook. And so when somebody said this playbook here, in a way I've labeled it, and let me start with, first, let's just look at the visual, right? So visually, you can see it's going to greetings again. And then it says, hey, friend, or if it knows their first name, you've been here before, haven't you? Right? So this is the greeting that I programmed. And you can see if I click on the audience here in the top left, I click on audience, you'll see that the only audience that's going to see this bot is going to be visitors whose site visit is greater than 1. So in other words, return visitors are going to see this playbook. So that's why I language it as, you've been here before, haven't you? And greetings again. So I'm acknowledging that that we know that you've been to the website before. And normally when I address when I address a stranger, a visitor, and acknowledge that they've been to the site before, they've been to the page before, that generally makes the person more engaged, more willing to have a conversation with the bot. So I want to go through a couple of options real quick. And so we can go all visitors, we can go visitors who have come before, but you can see here, we can go into certain pages. We can go into, if they are a target account, like in my database, if I'm targeting certain companies, we can talk to them differently. We can set up segments of contacts. Again, data from Marketo. We can change the conversation based upon what country they're in, what state they're in, what Canadian province they're in, their IP address, their zip code. Okay, a couple other things. We can change the conversation and greet people differently based upon how much time they've been on, refer where they came from, based upon some type of cookie that's on their site or on their browser, based upon their device. So we can talk to people on their phone differently than we would on a desktop. How many days since last visit, scroll percentage, and also on an exit intent. So all the other fancy smancy things you think that other like pop-ups and landing pages do, all that is built in to Drift, and how to customize a conversation, how to start talking to people very specifically to who they are and what they're doing. All these are kind of minor. So let me go back to showing you a little bit of how it looks. So we greet them, we ask them a question, I give them some buttons, whether or not they want to respond back. I also have one here for if I don't know what they're saying, I'm going to direct them one place. If they say, so the question was, you've been here before? If they say, yes, I have, or anything like that, I'm going to direct them to here. And then I'm going to get, if I don't know their first name, I'll get their first name. If I know what their first name is, I will, I'll begin to take them through the process of qualifying them, seeing who they are, and eventually leading them into either to talk to me, route a conversation to me, or I will route them to booking a meeting. Okay, so this is just a little bit of an overview of how we build out the bots based upon what the person's doing. Let's see. So we're still good. So that is a little bit of an overview of Drift and a little bit of understanding of what makes Drift so unique. So what we see, that's the one client I just showed you, increased their leads 500% in 90 days. And that didn't even count what I just showed you there when it came to booking meetings. I think on average, and if you go to my YouTube page or I've got a list of testimonials Still to this day, his website, there's maybe 10 to 15 playbooks, 10 to 15 bots on his site. And on average, the bot will book one meeting per day for him, 5 days a week, 4 weeks a month, month in, month out. He gets an average of one meeting per month based upon all the bots and all the playbooks that we have built for him. And his website gets, I say, between 3,000 and 4,000 visits a month. And this here is another client of ours. He, again, I've got a testimony from him. I can show you the video. When we began working on his bot and integrating all of their marketing, all of their landing pages, not all of them, but the majority of what happens on his site, when somebody is interested in working with them, all that is like filtered through a conversation and through Drift. And he's seen his leads increase about 250%. And we work with them also for maybe 6 months. Okay. And so I kind of want to transition. I want to go into some Q&A. If any of you have questions, I definitely want to hear any questions and kind of chat with you that. But again, there's really so much to go into. Again, I only scratched the surface. I'm actually going to show you a little bit about what it looks like to really, before you even get to building the bot, before you even get into the software, there's actually a way to wrap your mind and wrap your marketing that I want to show you. So I want to get into kind of how we do that, and then we'll get into the Q&A section. So one thing I want to mention is that the first thing that you're going to want to need to do to like strategically plan out how you would begin to interact with people is that you have to think through all of your avatars, all the personas of at least the top, I'd say the top 3 or 4 people that your business speaks to. You want to map out who they are and what they want and what that buyer's journey looks like, and then connect that with your website and the content you're making, the content that you're creating. How do those two things work together? And what we build out for clients is this thing called the conversational marketing blueprint. It's a way to connect both of those things together. And it's one of the most important keys to bringing those two together. What do people want, and what's on your site, and how does your bot engage in conversations that bring the two together? And then the second thing that we do is the actual work of building out a Drift platform, because again, I didn't go into lead routing, getting all your BDRs, your SDRs, your sales execs in there, whoever's doing the selling, whoever's doing the qualifying, whoever's going to be meeting with people, okay, whoever wants the live chat, whatever territory that they're facilitating or whatever target accounts you're doing. There's a lot that gets into building out the system, how we actually integrate it with Salesforce or Marketo or whatever you're doing. There's a whole, it's a whole project to build it out right and bring in the blueprint. So those are the two things that we can kind of do. If you kind of need more help, one is the pure strategy blueprint. And then number 2 is like bringing their strategy blueprint and applying that to a Drift install, if that is what you want. And so let me actually show you what that blueprint looks like real quick. And that is another screen. Let me show you what the blueprint kind of entails. And so, and you can see kind of on my screen here is that we're thinking through all these different steps. Of number 1, what page are people on and how that relates to how the bot interacts with them. Home, educational, a high intent, like a pricing page. Blog content, informational, who they are. Who is it on your website? Is it a stranger? Is it anonymous traffic? Is it return traffic? And that's, I just showed you those two, but there's also known traffic, people that are already in your database and you know who they are. You can talk to them differently. Is it a target account? If your company does account-based marketing and you're specifically looking for certain types of people, then you can change the conversation based on who they are. Is it an ideal customer profile? Is it a sales engaged? If they've already talked to your salesperson once or twice, and they've already had a demo, but they haven't yet converted, you can talk to those people differently, right? And then if they're already a customer, if they're a customer and they're on your website, you know, you don't need to talk to them like they're a stranger. You don't need to talk to them like they're a lead. You know, these are the kind of things that we think through when we build out the conversational marketing blueprint. And then there's, where did they come from? Was it direct traffic? Did it come from an ad? Is it somebody that you're nurturing in your email, your marketing automation system? Is it organic traffic? Did it come from search? Because with Drift's attribution features, we can see they came from Google. Can we see what the search term was? Did they come from Bing? Where did they come from? How do we talk to them? Did they come from a webinar or an event? Did they come from certain content on your site? And again, now, next section is, you know, why are they here? Why, you know, what are they looking for? And so we can talk to them based upon that reasoning. I can't get it there. So anyway, so, you know, we ask them questions, we qualify them, we evaluate them, we send them to a CDR or a BDR, or we send them to a certain rep, or we send them to an account exec, or we send the person some content to nurture them, or we send them some type of guide. You know, we lead them from one page to another page, right? Or do we lead the person to customer support? Or is it something that we can, you know, have a ticketing system and we lead them to there as well? So you can see there's all these different places. There's how, you know, why a person comes to your site helps to determine where do we take them. And then, you know, and then again, when do we want to engage with them, right? Most people who are actually in a buying mindset, they want help now. So hopefully you can understand that with a real strategic system like this set up, you can help the person right then and right there. So that is kind of an overview of the conversational marketing blueprint. And so that is what we have to say for today. Now, I see if we got any questions. We will go into questions, any in the chat. And just to give you a heads up, I will probably be doing a series of webinars for the next couple of weeks. We're going to tackle